yes. What's good, family? Back once again. Forgive me if I don't come out too loud. Haven't got my mic with me right now. Do have to get reconnected. Can you hear me good, Floss?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
Okay, that's what's up, man. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I'm just chilling up early in this morning. You know what I mean? Just you bright eyed and bushy tail, looking at all this shit on the news. You know,
Well, yeah, the news. I mean, it's definitely been a constant tailspin of, just I look at it like I guess like an onion. They say, it got different layers. Each day there's been a different kind of layer or a different thing being revealed. And, a lot of this is speculation and stuff. And some of it has been maybe stuff that was already there, but it's just being revealed to us because it's, part of different people's suits and stuff. But, the news nonstop, even out here in mainstream media, have picked up on the story. Other media outlets and forms that may not necessarily focus on hip hop as a art form, it's kind of transcended that because we look at somebody who's an overall bigger public figure just on the global scale, that being Diddy, who we see here, how people have depicted him like the Riddler as like, a bad guy. Some people still been quite jovial or having fun with it. Here we see like an AI depiction image. So I mean, you mentioned like the news. What's the news been like out there?
it's been Diddy. Everybody been Diddy. But I just feel like Diddy haven't done nothing worse than the rest of them. And I also feel that it's going to be a new uh, a new person the next couple of months from now. But the intensity of it and how big it is, I feel like Diddy he just basically just messed up with the higher ups, and they disciplining him right now. You know what I mean? Sometimes when you do certain things, the karma's going to come back. But I feel like this was part of a plan that was been coming. It was been on the way. You know, it's just another plot to break a black man. I feel like if Diddy really was in trouble and really was in trouble, I feel like that they would have him in custody by now. You know what I'm saying? And so it's the reason why he's not in custody right now. It's not like he can't run. They can find him. You know what I'm saying? Through all these phones and technology and stuff that we have, our devices, they can find you. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like they can't. It's a reason why. Uh, it's a reason why that Diddy is going through this. It's because he had probably messed up with the higher ups or the elites. You know what I mean? They do it to all the black men. They got some money. The Steve Harveys, the whoever's, the Kevin Harts, you know what I'm saying? It was just Kevin Hart, then it was just Cat Williams, and then it was just, you know what I'm saying? It's just like over and over and over, but it takes the narrative off the real shit that's going on in this world that we should be focused upon. We shouldn't be focused upon the demise of another one of our black men at the end of the day. This is still a black man with money that still incorporates black people and all that type of thing. They could throw a jacket on anybody and magnify it and make it seem like, this is what it is. If people see it on the news, if people see it in the media, oh, that's what it is. They automatically then judged you. You know what I'm saying? And you already guilty before proven innocent. That's what I feel.
I mean, what do you feel? Because I mean, there's so many different dynamics with this one, and many feel as though it can be difficult enough in today's modern times where there are sometimes false claims laden against people, but there seems to be sometimes often like when there are cases where people have been hurt or victimized and sometimes criminalized, oftentimes there's a disparity where people don't necessarily believe that there has been victims in some cases, and some people say then does that or could that make it harder for victims to speak out? One thing I'd say in this case, we have seen that people haven't been really shy of being vocal and speaking out and letting their voice be heard, whether it be like years later in some cases. And some may argue that that's because the way that media has changed now, people are more able to access media directly and put out sources of story and information. Now, I know you mentioned Steve Harvey and also Kevin Hart. I'm not necessarily quite familiar with like some of their issues. I do know, obviously, hearing some stuff about Steve being accused of like holding back people, like being as a gatekeeper or something to that effect. But
Mm-hmm.
um, in this situation, because of the accusations that may be criminal in nature, if proven, it's it it's a bit different. And with the nature of those crimes, people are now making a comparison with like a Jeffrey Epstein or a Harvey Weinstein, even though some people believe that some of these guys weren't actually given the harshest or the right form of punishment or was allowed to continue doing things like that for a long period of time. I say that to say, should it then matter about his skin color, or is it more about the crimes he's being accused of being heinous nonetheless? Or do you think it's more of a case of, as where people would say, is it being like a, a systematic trope against, the black man being taken down from getting out of line?
I think they're going just a little bit extra harder because the fact that he is a black man. But when it comes to this has no face. This has no race. It has no preference when it comes to it. When it comes to this, because at the end of the day, when this type of shit blows up, all the publications, all the media, all the magazines, all the newspapers, they all make money from it. You feel me? At the same time, as they go up, you go down. But at the end of the day, bad publicity is good publicity. You know what I'm saying? In this day of age. But what I'm trying to say is that no, I don't feel like just because he is black, they're doing that to him. I think that because he's black, they're going extra hard. And I also feel, like I said, it has no preference when it comes to this. This is the new mechanism of making money. You feel what I'm saying? And getting to the paper of another person's demise. You feel what I'm saying? This shit will go away. This shall go and pass, and there's going to be somebody else new that's going to be under the chopping block, and that's all it is to it. You feel what I'm saying? It's just the fact that, oh yeah, it's a nigga with money. Just Diddy, yeah, let's get him anyway. Let's really get him. You know what I'm saying? But as far as when it comes to like they just sorting people out, like, oh, he's black, we gonna get him. No, they're gonna get anybody. This could be anybody white, anybody black. The only people that it's not gonna happen to is the people that stay in line, that stay within play their own lane, that's not going out of the lines and causing trouble or being arrogant or being pompous to somebody. You to piss somebody off. That's all it is to it.
Yeah, we know that they say controversy creates cash. I believe that was a term that was coined by former WCW executive Eric Bischoff. But I do see that, especially in these times where, somebody can chime in on a controversial matter, and oftentimes it can lead to a lot of revenue. Recently, we've seen that with the Shay Shay interview with Cat Williams, which some people found to be controversial. And I guess, albeit a lot of people did say they took back a sentiment of, empowerment, and I guess going against the system in a lot of ways of doing things. But the irony is, systematically they would have helped generate so much money. Not, I don't want to say them for the same system, but then for even in essentially for Shay Shay and Cat, they say he made, he definitely made I might want to pocket watch or speculate how much money was made for that interview, but nonetheless, it made a lot of money. And I say that to say, to agree with what you're saying, where you can kind of monetize controversy nowadays, because I didn't personally think Cat Williams was being that controversial. I just thought he was, just speaking his mind and being quite candid in a certain type of way. But because people took it controversially and it was something for them to jump on, it garnered a lot of attention.
Not to cut you off, but this point is very valid. What you're talking about, the fact of, you're right, you didn't look at Cat Williams as a person who is controversial. He's a comedian. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's supposed to make people laugh. But what the fact of it is who you talking about. These people, these key people that he's talking about, are making a lot of money for other people. And the money that Shannon Sharp and Cat Williams made for that Shay Shay interview is crumbs compared to what the white people is really making off of it. That shit is crumbs. You know what I'm saying? The same thing Snoop
Oh
Dogg was
yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
Go ahead.
definitely. I mean, the thing is, even if we was to look at, I get you, from like the YouTube aspect of the how YouTube breaks down, or that, and that's just one avenue to say they're getting revenue from that. There's other publication sponsorship, other ways that they're probably cashing out, making money from it, but everybody that they actually are in partnership with to be monetized in a sense, they get a percentage too. But for the most part, they're getting a big percentage as well. So as you said, even though they made a lot of money, the company overall, or the platforms they're around, or the vehicles they're signed to, or whatever, that they're making a lot of money and stuff too. And the thing is, it's one of those where we could look and say, everybody gotta eat. You want to be comfortable. You don't want to feel as though these companies are just making all this money from you and you not getting anything, like we see in like the music business in a lot of senses now. That's why in one aspect you've had people, and you still have people making more money from being content creators in some cases on YouTube and other
Yeah, but they're
platforms.
not making the real money that they should be making. We're getting gypped from these streams. These people that make these
That's
streams and all this stuff.
but that's my
No.
point. I'm saying that people who are making more money from like than some of the artists, say like a Vlad or somebody, who probably interviews artists, but he's not actually creating the music. He's probably making more money doing that than the artists who are putting out money and waiting to get, as you
He's
said.
more hip hop based than the rest of them. He's more hip hop based. He's making more money off of hip hop than black people are making off of hip hop. You feel what I'm saying? And we're doing the same thing. A lot of this stuff that YouTube and all this stuff, all that shit is, a lot of it is biased when it comes to the payment of people. Vlad is making, how you make all the money? Like when I used to be signed to record companies and all this type of shit, the people that sitting behind the desk that don't give a damn about rap, they don't care nothing about rap, but they're making more money than the artists. You feel what I'm saying? So I feel like these streams and all this type of stuff, I think that we should be getting 1 or 2 or 3 cents a stream compared to a half a cent and all that type of stuff. You're supposed to make money off your content, but guess who is making all the money? These platforms, these people that's putting all this out. I feel like they should be sued, and it's whack that they're not giving people their proper dues. Like the same thing that a black girl will go do on YouTube. The girl, the catch you outside girl, she'll do the same exact thing, and she's a mega sensation phenomenon. They all take from us.
Exactly. And that's why, even though it's slightly off topic, I do take the stance where I do, just as some people say, oh, why are you such a hip hop advocate, or why are you such a hip hop historian, or why do you defend the culture in some ways, and it's because just for that matter, where if we don't do it even at the level where we can, it makes it easier for people to, as you aforementioned, just take things, because we already know in one aspect we're dealing with a systematic bias that can and does show those biases. I remember quite a few years back, and some YouTube creators will also attest to this, that as black creators, they can be more limited in a lot of ways. Remember Willie D and others had, might have a thriving channel now, but he had a lot of issues. There's still people having issues now, like Doggy Diamonds and other creators that are pertinent to the hip hop culture, but
Right.
not being allowed to reach. There's like a ceiling, unless and, I think we spoke on this before, because we said there was, Adam 22, Vlad, and Bobby Altaf or something like that. We say, these people seem to just pop up, and automatically they get them the interviews and certain things like that. And I think a part of that can be us as well, because I think there's a excitement that some black people get when they engage somebody from a different community, because they used to their own people, like, a black person telling them, oh yeah, you're a good rapper. Oh yeah, they don't care. Like, yeah, shit. But when somebody else want to interview them or tell them something from a different community, they feel like, oh, I've actually connected with somebody, and it could lead to some money. So I think there's a lot of that too.
Shit is rigged. Everything is rigged. Everything is controlled. Everything is monitored. If you really think about it, how come you can get on a plane with the amount of money that you want to have on you? Unless you have it on a card. If you have it on a card, that means it's being controlled. It's being monitored. How come I can see if I got on the plane with some drugs, but you mean to tell me I can't get on the plane with over $10,000 unless somebody asks me some questions? You feel me? It's a lot of things that's going on in this world. That's why I say I look above the Puffy thing. I look above of this. How they handle it. It's like they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't have Sylvester Stallone's kids out there like that with guns pointed on them, or Leonardo DiCaprio or any of them. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just the fact of I feel like they making a lot of money off of it at the same time while you going down, they coming up.
Oh, well, I mean, that's one way of looking at it, but my ultimate way of looking at it, not to negate that, is it ultimately, it coincides because, in the aspect to where we say it's just, the system and it's rigged and all that sort of stuff. This is the same system Diddy was a part of anyway. Even the whole monetary system of money, how money is created, how it flows, how it where it's it's a whole it's a whole part of the same sort of paradigm. And so it's kind of like, I don't want to say like, can you beat it, because we're still victims or a part of the same sort of system. We don't control certain things, in terms of I don't want to say economics, but even just in terms of the money that's being printed and who's printing it. So as you said, there are there's people above who are controlling the major workings of how this world works, and sometimes these celebrities or these successful people in the financial scale are able to get up to these levels where they're able to be around certain types of different peoples. And as we see, learning now, some of them are engaging in different types of behaviors. Also, some questionable, some cases alleged to be criminal. That remains to be seen. Obviously, we can't make those allegations ourselves personally, but we can sort of just look at how things are going with the industry and what's being reported.
Put it to you like this: whatever Diddy did, Clive Davis couldn't save him. He had to step out the way. It's big. It's bigger. It's more of a situation. Move out the way before you get it too. I'm telling you. It's all you could. I don't know if everybody else can see it, but I've been in this industry for a minute.
I think they said they said 50 Cent made. I believe they said 50 Cent made some snide commentary about Clive Davis or somebody. And so you've got to watch it nowadays, because people be reporting stuff on social media and saying, there's a lot of all that. So, and there was something that was going around where they said Suge Knight had made a comment saying Jimmy Iovine told him that Clive Davis and Puffy was into some dealings or something. But so there's a lot of different speculation. So to me, this is why I can't really necessarily side with, I guess, some conspiracy theories, because even though I may see the plausibility, it's kind of just as unfounded as some of the other speculation, the allegations that are out there. As you said kind of aptly before, everybody got their opinion on these things, but ultimately we just gotta wait and see how the facts or what's presented to us as facts unfold. But it's got the whole world talking right now, and I do think it will have a long-standing effect on not only Diddy's career going forward, but also his image with the
public. Yeah, you can mess up the thing with the money man. You know what I mean? You can mess it up with the money man. You know what I mean? We all know that Diddy is black. And if you don't have a person like a Clive Davis or Jimmy Iovine to sit there and co-sign for you, and while everybody else is saying no to you, they ain't gonna say no to this person. And if he vouched for you, that means you Gucci. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, if you don't have that type of backing, it's hard. That's how I know. That's how I know what I'm talking about. I'm not saying like I'm the person that knows everything that was going on. I'm not on that. I'm really not even tripping off like saying all this type of stuff about Puffy. But what I do see is a railroad going on. That's what I do see. I don't know about all the other allegations and all that, but a person that would pay that much money got to be involved with something. But at the same time, all this a drug mule, and I ain't never heard none of this stuff until a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I mean none of that was proven, but they do say they arrested somebody with some allegations on. I believe, as I said, this was a part of that suit from Lil Brad. So what happens with these suits, or what would tend to happen is, as they progress, more information will come out because initially a lot of names and sometimes dates of things will be redacted, but then they're able to start revealing things over time. So what happened was they say the guy who was raided, it may not have necessarily been in connection with that. Who knows? This is but he was somebody who was named, and also I believe Young
Cuba Gooding
Miami and
Jr. Cuba Gooding Jr. is named in it too.
yep, Cuba Gooding Jr. too. I mean, you know what's funny is Cuba Gooding Jr. He did this movie called Boat Trip or something like that, where he play he kind of play a homosexual but not a homosexual, but wants to play be, or I don't know. He ends
Have
up
you
on a
seen that
boat.
clip on him? Have you seen that clip on Cuba Gooding Jr. when he was at that party, hella drunk and on something, doing
Dancing
backspins and shit? Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I say when you see that movie Boat Trip, he do a few dancing numbers in there.
Even Gene Deal say it. Gene Deal say it. Like, I've seen this at parties. Dude, all on people, all in another dude face, having his hand all on his thigh and all that. Looked like he was like a woman, basically, all in his face. Like, and I seen people that have drunk moments like that. But Cuba Gooding Jr. when he was out there doing the breakdance moves, all that drunk, hella drunk, and I was like,
He thought he was doing something hitting the break. He thought he was doing something with the breakdance, but you know, I only kind of made light of it because, like I said, I remember him doing that movie, and there was an interview on Comedy Hype, and you know, big ups to Comedy Hype, good channel. I like their content, and they had his brother on there, Omar Gooding, and he was talking about some of his Hollywood experiences, and he even actually made the inference that people had wanted him to play some questionable type of roles himself, and why I kind of like the interview because they actually did get into Cuba doing that Boat Trip movie where he played the not like, you know, you gotta look at the synopsis. He's not actually playing a homosexual, he's pretending to in some
right,
weird way.
but still, if you do any type of gay scene, they prepping you. They testing you. They testing you.
So when Omar was talking that, and he was kind of like, you know, Cuba, he kind of was, you know, he didn't. He was. I'd encourage you to watch the interview because it was an interesting one, you know. But he kept it real though. He didn't like try and speak for him or anything, or even say, you know, he was just like, nah. He was just explaining how the industry is, and they was kind of like, well, your brother did that movie, and he was kind of, well, you know, I kind of like that's Cuba or whatever, whoop to you, but you know. Shout out to Omar Goody, man. Big O. Did you ever come across him on the music front? I believe he had an album with Sebo, or a joint album at one point they put out.
I know Cuba.
If it was,
I know, dude.
not Cuba.
I got a picture with dude.
Omar.
I seen him at the celebrity basketball game. Omar Gooding. Omar.
No, I'm not Cuba. Omar. Yeah. Did you ever hear any of his music?
No, I never heard none of his music, but he did his thing in Baby Boy though. He's acting like a straight up G.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not sure what neighborhood he's from, but you know, he's from like you know, the community enough.
He ain't from nowhere. He ain't no gang member, but he's from the turf. He from LA. And if you from LA, you know about the gang shit.
That's what I mean. He's still a nigger for lack of a better term, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he got an album he did with Sebo.
I know Sebo. Shout out to the homeboy Sebo. But Cuba, dude. Cuba, how I seen him on that film, on that clip, and then the thing is that, you know, it's one thing to to be an actor, to try to come out, you're trying to come out as an actor to try to establish yourself. That's one thing. But when you already got a couple of movies under your belt, you get more thirsty on your next film, on working. So ain't no telling, like Jack told Helen, what you may do. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm not doing no shit like that, but what I'm saying is once you have done something, it's like it's the race of trying to keep it going. And I heard he had touched a couple of women or did some way out or something. A couple of women sued him or something or whatever. But they threw him in Diddy's shit real quick.
Yeah, I mean, he was named in the suit from, I believe, that guy Little Brad or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And Gene seen it too. So
yeah, so I don't. Yeah, he involved in that. I don't know if there's actually anything being brought against him in terms of them looking anything from him in terms of damages or anything, or if it's just more of a case that they've just named him like other people have been named, just as an example of, I guess, what they're saying they was around or they witnessed or experienced.
mm-hmm. This is the era where they'll ruin your ass.
But yeah, I'm sure that there's gonna be more to it. There'll definitely be more to it.
Oh, it's definitely not over. It's definitely not over because they about to get their money's worth because of the fact that he still got to go through repayment. And so that's what's going on. But we all speaking on it. We speaking early. Like I said, I don't wish jail on nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's because it's the worst place that you could ever go to. But those who have been locked up, they know just what I'm talking about. So we don't ever know how it's gonna end out or whatever. It's gonna be interesting. That's what I will say.
Yeah, we'll see how things continue to break down on this one. But yeah, we appreciate anybody who listens in until the end. We'll try to keep updated with this. I ain't gonna be all about this story like how some broadcasters are. Occasionally, chime in, but if there's something that's I feel needs to be said or needs to be chimed in on, because everybody talking about this one, so it's like it doesn't need to be. To me, I look at things like that. Everything don't need to always be reported on by the same person. So
Right. Like I said the other day, believe half of what you see and none of what you hear. This is the cancellation the cancellation seasons. You know what I'm saying? And so they own it like a honey. You know what I mean? So to Diddy, if he wrong, do your time. Other than that, you know what I mean? Hold your head, brother. And if you can get up out of it and squeeze up out of it, squeeze up out of it.
No doubt, man. We are on this one this week. The boy FONZi Neutron representing FighterOnline.com. Shouts out to the boy Mixer Reviews, Last Mode 1.
100.